Hello there! This is Operansis, and the Clone Wars is returning, so I decided, why not take a look at the previous seasons? Season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th season on Netflix, and maybe even the unfinished episodes of what should have been season 7, and take a look at all of the Easter eggs, references, cameos, and that stuff in them. Why not? Now this may be a bit of a stretch, but this line...
Beautiful this moon is,
And this line...
Amazing, the universe. Yes.
Just always sounded to me a lot like this line.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
According to actor James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Plo Koon, the character of Plo Koon, his voice basically, was inspired by Ian McKellen's Gandalf.
Plo Koon was great because, Dave had always had this vision. It was his favorite character, which was an honor to get to do it then. And he wanted a very Gandalf sound. So he said, Ian
That sounds
McKellen.
very Dave Filoni.
He said, think Gandalf. That was really his direction. And so the first couple of episodes, Malevolence Rising and all of those were Plo Koon. And the funny story about that was, so I'm voicing Plo Koon, and I'm doing this, kind of Ian McKellen type voice. Kotoya, little Ahsoka.
For the Geonosians, Matthew Wood, the sound editor of the show and also the voice of General Grievous and the battle droids, took a fruit bat and recorded its sounds, and recorded the mating calls of penguins, and then combined them.
One of the elements was the mating calls of penguins, Antarctic penguins, that I found in Melbourne at this island called Phillip Island. And I went down there, and they were calling back and forth to each other, so that's one of the elements of the Geonosians. It's... And then mixed in with that as well, some of the speaking kind of babble of the Geonosian is a couple of fruit bats. I'd given a banana to one of them, and then another one came to try to get it at the same time, so they're kind of fighting over that, and that's this sound.
For the sound of Separatist leader Poggle the Lesser, Matthew Wood made clicking noises with his mouth, as well as being like... He made various almost reverse sound noises with his mouth, and then combined all of the noises that he made into one alien language.
He's got some mouth clicks. There's like a flutter sound. I ended up just doing that kind of flutter sound through a comb and wax paper. It gives it an extra buzz to it. And then he also has this weird kind of almost backwards speak that goes with that.
This line from the tactical droid TX-21
We have 20 units ready now, and many more on the way.
reminds me of this line from Lamassu.
200,000 units are ready, with 1 million more well on the way.
The character of Chairman Papanoida first appeared in Revenge of the Sith, where he was called Baron Papanoida and was played by the director himself, George Lucas. Here, he is voiced by Corey Burton, who also voices Count Dooku. That being said, Papanoida's whole family is inspired by the Lucas family. For example, Papanoida's son Ian is inspired by George Lucas's son, Jet Lucas, who also plays Zed Jukasa in Revenge of the Sith. And in the show, Ian is voiced by Seth Green, the actor from Robot Chicken, who also does the voice of Todo Freak 60 in the show. Chi Ikwe first appeared in Revenge of the Sith, where she was played by Katie Lucas, the daughter of George Lucas. And here she appears again, her model designed after George Lucas's daughter again. And she is voiced by Nika Futterman, who also voices Asajj Ventress. Chea Manway is designed after George Lucas's other daughter, Amanda Lucas, who has played several roles in the prequels. So this is the corrupt Mandalorian inspector from Season 3, Episode 5, titled Corruption. Look at him closely. Examine him. Remember him? Now, look here. This is a character from Season 4 and Season 5 who is a member of the evil group known as the Death Watch. Anything similar? Yeah, everything. Everything. It's exactly the same model, exactly the same face, exactly the same facial features and body movement and everything. This is either the laziness of the animators and they just used the same model for the Inspector and the evil Death Watch guy, or this is a cool Easter egg that the Inspector became so corrupt that he joined the Death Watch. Another very cool Easter egg in this scene is this line from Tiva, who is voiced by D. Bradley Baker.
Luck has nothing to do with it.
Before, I always took this line as a given, like, yeah, maybe they planned this all out, that's why luck has nothing to do with this, they planned it all out. But right now, I just came to a sudden realization while making the Easter egg video that this is a clue of itself. This is foreshadowing for the next episode, telling us how the minister Almec is actually a traitor. Because based on these words, it's clear that someone from high ranks gave them the information. And after the next episode, we find out that yeah, probably this was all Almec's plan, so he would know everything about the docks and Padme arriving. And we do find out that he was in control of the black market, which means he was in control of Tiva, and which means he gave him the information. So this is much more than it seems. One sentence so great. Perfect writing here. In Season 3, Episode 9, The Hunt for Zero, the dance number performed by the Twi'leks and Sy Snootles is inspired by the dance number in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And what's funny is that George Lucas has had something to do with both movies. He was basically the organizer and the main guy in the Clone Wars, and he was the producer in Indiana Jones.
You know, was in the script she was singing this song and we queued up Temple of Doom.
The script for the Night Sisters arc was written by Katie Lucas, the daughter of George Lucas, who we've already talked about earlier in the video. The character of Savage Opress was heavily inspired by Frankenstein's monster. And now we've come towards the Citadel arc, and
This is where the fun begins.
indeed, because this one is jam-packed with Easter eggs, references behind the scenes. Okay, I know this one wasn't intended to be an Easter egg, but I just like it way too much. The name of the planet Lola Sayu, to me at least, just always sounded a lot like Lalotai from Moana. O.C. Sobek's name comes from the crocodile-like Egyptian god Sobek. When voicing the character of O.C. Sobek, James Arnold Taylor combined his impressions of Al Pacino and Christopher Walken and made it just a little more gruff.
So what I ended up doing was kind of this combination of Al Pacino and Christopher Walken. So you take a little hoo-ha, okay, and you take Chris Walken, and you get O.C. Sobek.
You do that great Christopher Walken. It's spot on, unbelievable. I said, what if you did that, but not exactly like that, but use the rhythm of it and deepen it, make it a little more gruff.
The carnivorous creatures known as the Anubis may have possibly been inspired by the Egyptian god Anubis. Many fans absolutely love the Umbara arc, and I understand why. It's a great showcase of basically war and so on, and the most intriguing part of it is General Pong Krell, who constantly put his troops into very bad positions and specifically sabotaged their missions so that most of them would die. This is probably inspired by General Haig, who was a British commander who led the Battle of the Somme and was considered by many as the butcher of his troops due to his reckless tactical decisions. And this probably was the inspiration. Anakin pretending that Ahsoka is his prisoner/slave is obviously a reference to episode 4, where Han and Luke pretended that Chewie was their slave. The Mune planet of Scipio was probably named after the Roman general Scipio. Darth Bane, who made his first appearance in Legends, was voiced by Mark Hamill himself here. Mark Hamill provided 2 different voices, and they were combined and put together to match perfectly timed.
The Sith killed each other, victims of their own greed. But from the ashes of destruction, I was the last survivor.